Washington's National Park Fund recognizes how fortunate we are to have Mount Rainier, North Cascades, and Olympic National Parks right in our own backyard. As the only philanthropic organization dedicated solely to supporting and strengthening these crown jewels, we work with each park as they identify their top funding priorities for the coming year. Tonight, we're asking your help to fund 3 of them. Here they are.
So the Junior Ranger program is a nationwide program, so most national parks have them, and it involves an activity book where kids can complete some activities and bring it back to the visitor center and get a badge. The other component of Junior Ranger programs are actual ranger guided programs. I'm Annie Rundy and I'm an education ranger at Mount Rainier. So this funding will be used to support our Junior Ranger book, which is rather old and outdated, and so we'd love a new Junior Ranger book to help kids better connect to park resources and make meaningful, lasting connections to the park. I think especially Junior Rangers feel this sense of commitment to Mount Rainier and ownership over this place, and they realize that parks are for everyone. That's a big message of the Junior Ranger program, is that they belong to all of us, and it's all of our responsibility to take care of it.
The Junior Ranger program at Mount Rainier is one of the most very special things I think that we do here at Mount Rainier. The goal of the Junior Ranger program is to excite our Junior Rangers, but more than that, it's to connect these young visitors and their families to these parks.
We have visitors that come back and they camp in the park every summer, and so it's really fun to hear stories from them about how they became Junior Rangers when they were 5 and now they're teenagers, to just see that excitement still and commitment that's starting to the park and to the National Park Service mission. And it all started with a Junior Ranger book, maybe just a book and a badge or maybe a ranger guided program, but either way, they made this really meaningful connection and it's continued through their life.
The idea of the Search and Rescue program, or PSAR program, is to be able to contact people before they get into trouble in the wilderness. My name's Daniel Kamicha, and I'm the acting chief ranger at North Cascades National Park Service Complex. What we're realizing is that the people that are visiting the park have changed over the years. Traditionally, we've had a very experienced user group that comes into the mountains. But over the last several years, we've really seen people that have come in without that same experience.
Going into terrain up in Boston Basin and El Dorado looks great on Facebook, but it also requires a great amount of knowledge and technical skills. What we found in looking back at incidents, one of the things we ask is, how could this have been prevented? And really, if you think about it, 9 times out of 10, there are measures that could have been taken to prevent that incident from happening.
What we're hoping with this PSAR program is to be able to reach out to people ahead of time, educate them on what they need to be aware of, what their skills need to be, that the skills coming up in the mountains are different than the skills at a sport climbing area.
So we want them to be as educated and safe as possible before going into the backcountry. So the idea of this preventive search and rescue will really help out the rescuers. If our visitors are safe in the backcountry, then rescuers don't have to go through those stressful situations.
When you save someone's life or when you actually get them out of there, it's very satisfying, and it's great for us, it's great for the family. That's not the way it always works out.
Those families are having the worst days of their lives, while many other people are showing up to these national parks for their best days.
Well, if so many rescues are really preventable, then I think anything we can do to reach out and make that change is worth it.
Today I'm talking about our Marmot Monitoring program that's done by citizen scientists. It's been a program that since its inception has been supported by Washington's National Park Fund back in 2010, and we've continued to have that support since then. My name is Patty Happy, and I'm the Wildlife Branch Chief at Olympic National Park. So Olympic marmots are a large member of the squirrel family that live in the ground. They're related to woodchucks, and it is what we call a fully endemic species. It is only found in the Olympic Mountains. And because they live in high elevation areas, alpine and subalpine areas, which is mainly in the park, 90% of the world's population is in the park. And it's one of the few species where we have good background information. Research actually started on marmots in the 50s. So we have this, they used to be here and now they're not, a good foundation to work off of. The great thing about marmots are they're easy to see, so they're pretty easy species to monitor. They're out in the open. They like this high elevation habitat. It also is habitats where people like to go, but it is hard to count individuals. So what we do is we recruit for volunteers, and most of the sites you have to be experienced backpacking. So my role is organizing the whole shebang, recruiting new volunteers around March, assigning people to different units and making sure that my high priority areas are covered, getting research backcountry permits, training for new volunteers, supervise them while they're in the field, collect the data while it's done, collate it, and write the annual report. And there's no way I could afford to pay for biotechs to go to all these places that the volunteers go to. I could not do it without the citizen scientists who come back every year, and then the support from Washington's National Park Fund.
Washington National Park Fund could help, really build the foundation to this program. We see this as a multi-year program.
Our bread and butter type programs like Junior Rangers that have really lasting impacts and are really important to the park can be hard to fund. And so we really look to donors like Washington's National Park Fund who provide that funding.
Thank you very much for your support. It is greatly appreciated.
Thanks for your support, Washington National Park Fund.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for your support. It's going to make a big difference in parks for a long time.